Many thanks to Rita. And now we're having our next speaker of the day. He is Mr. David Marcus. I think some of you are very familiar with him because he's a teacher at HD in Prague. And Mr. Marcus will be sharing his career experience in education. And let's welcome Mr. Marcus.
This one? Is there a clicker? Okay. Hello, everyone. When was the last time you made a mistake? Something simple like forgetting your computer password, maybe ordering food to the wrong address, maybe forgetting somebody's birthday. In 2014, I was finishing my first 4 years in China. So I took my spring break in Thailand. And on the way back, I took a flight from Bangkok to Shenyang. On the flight, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, we were landing. I saw other people get off the plane, so I got up and I followed them out. I went to the baggage claim, and I waited for my luggage, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, but my bag never came. I started to get nervous. Did they lose my luggage? I went to the help desk and I told them my problem. I said, hey, you guys must have lost my luggage. They took my ticket and they looked at the ticket and they looked at me and they looked at the ticket and they said, sir, your ticket is for Shenyang. This airport is in Chongqing. Yes. At the time, I didn't know where I was. This was my first flight back to China, and I had no clue I was supposed to not get off the plane. So I didn't know what to do. I just thought my plane left without me. So I kind of just stood there not knowing what to say. Well, thankfully, the ladies at the help desk called a security guard over to bring me all the way back through security, all the way back to my gate, and I got to walk back onto my plane and sit back in the seat that I left. And in the end, everything was okay. I just made a mistake, and I learned from that experience to make sure I pay attention next time. See, making mistakes is a natural thing we all do. So when doing new things or going to new places, why are we so nervous about making mistakes? Well, somebody might laugh at you. You might feel disappointed or shame or lose face. Maybe you might think somebody's going to be angry at you. Well, being a teacher for the past 10 years, I have never had a student that has not made a mistake. Whether it's adults, university students, older teenagers, children, or even native speakers. But different learners react differently to making mistakes. See, in my experience when teaching older students like adults, they tend to be focused on grammar and vocabulary. But when I try to speak to them, they can be very reluctant to have a conversation. They focus a lot on memorizing vocabulary over and over again, thinking about the pronunciation and focusing on grammar to make the perfect sentence. And that's good, but taking a step back, what is the end goal of learning a language? Is it to make perfect sentences, or is it to talk and communicate and gain good experiences? See, the kids I teach right now are about 5 to 6 years old. And when they first come to my class, they have very little or no English ability. But as time goes on, and we're having fun English lessons, or we're having a fun activity, or even a drama where they have to speak in a second language in front of strangers, they're more than willing to try and give it a go. So what makes these young learners more likely to try new things and not care? Well, young children are natural language learners. They are self-motivated to pick up language without conscious learning. Any idea that speaking English is difficult does not occur to them unless told to them by an adult or maybe a textbook. In addition, when making mistakes, they also receive less brain activity as a response to making mistakes, compared to adults and older teenagers. See, after teaching these types of students for the past 2 years, I've come to 3 simple observations. Number 1, they don't really care about what they look like. See, my students, when I come in, maybe their hair's a complete mess, they have food on their faces, maybe they're sick and they have stuff coming out of their noses, and they'll still walk up to me and say, "Teacher, how are you? How was your day? Look at what I made." They don't care about what I'm doing. Maybe I'm having a conversation with somebody and they'll want to talk to me. Or maybe I'm sitting, eating food, and they'll still ask me questions. Or if I'm sitting down, reading a book, they'll ask me to play with them. And they don't really care about making mistakes. Usually, when they bring up their work and I point something out, they kind of just shrug and fix it and move on. They tend not to dwell on their mistakes for more than just a few seconds. So what can we take from this? Obviously, everybody here is older, and we do care about what other people think about us making mistakes. And it's sometimes not realistic for me to say, "Hey, just don't care and try," because sometimes we get nervous. But we can take inspiration from our young learners and try ourselves, because I know I did. Maybe instead of trying to memorize 5 vocabulary words every day, maybe try to use those 5 words in a conversation and expect not to get them right the first 5 times. Or maybe when you travel abroad or go study abroad, instead of just staying comfortable with a group of students like yourself, maybe trying to join a sports team or join a club. See, living here in China as an expat, in 2020, I decided to try something new. We just finished our first lockdown and we were finally free to go, and I wanted to try something new. And at the time, I just started teaching these young learners. So I got inspired to join a sport that I never tried before called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it was very difficult. I was not in shape. Everybody there spoke Chinese, and I wasn't very good. But I still kept going, because how could I even face my own students who are giving it their best and trying if I didn't give it my best and try? And 3 years later, which was last week, I still go, and I'm still learning and making mistakes. And that's okay, because as long as I know I'm getting better, I don't really care about any of that. Thank you.